Very exciting announcement for us here at Fasig-Tipton Digital, as Mensa will now be featured in a flash sale to take place April the 25th through April the 29th. That sale closing at 2 p.m. Eastern on April the 29th. And we're joined by Steve Castanola to talk more about Mensa. But first, we want to thank the great folks at DJ Stables. DJ has done a fantastic job with supporting the digital platform and also TaylorMade Sales as well, who is acting as agent on behalf of DJ Stables for Mensa, who is a very exciting 2-year-old, a debut winner, Gulfstream Park, which we will dive into in a little bit. But we've seen a number of great horses come from DJ Stables here over the past year or so in the digital platform, with the likes of Whitwater's Rand, who was recently named the champion 2-year-old female in Canada, Sovereign Award winner. That is a horse who has come through the digital platform as a DJ graduate as well. So we are very excited to have Mensa offered in the flash sale. And here to talk more about Mensa is Steve Castanola from TaylorMade Sales Agency. And Steve, this is an exciting horse, a debut winner, Gulfstream Park, and we've seen a number of horses come from the Mark Casse operation to have success as a 2-year-old.
Absolutely, Jesse. This horse was super impressive, wasn't he, on debut? It's very uncanny. He looks a lot like his sire, Complexity. Very similar physical attributes, very similar in their facial markings, and he certainly looked like a colt with a bright future, and brings to mind a couple of recent 2-year-olds that broke their maiden on debut for Mark Casse that went on and did great things, and those being both Wonder Wheel and Classic Empire.
Yeah, so you look at the likes of Classic Empire, who became obviously a sire, and he had grade 1 success at a high level as a 3-year-old even. So he continued on. He broke his maiden early in his 2-year-old season in a sprint race and then continued on. You mentioned Complexity as well, who broke his maiden going 6 furlongs and stretched out to a mile. So this horse definitely has the pedigree to do it. And Casse has a very steady track record of really developing these horses. Yes, he can get them to win early, but he can get them to stretch out as well. You look at this horse's pedigree, Steve. You've got a half-sibling here to Recruiter and also to the filly Miss Saley. Both horses are competitive as stakes juveniles. In fact, one's a stakes winner. What do you see in the pedigree here? There's some precocity here as well. What do you see in the pedigree that this horse could stretch out and also maybe fall in line with that black type as well?
Well, yeah, absolutely. It's a Medaglia d'Oro mare, Jesse, and she's a 100% winner producer right now, with 2 of her foals being black type horses. The 2-year-old stakes winner, Recruiter, who's back for a 4-year-old campaign. I think he just worked on the 20th of April. I think he worked a half mile, so he's back for more as a 4-year-old. And then you see Miss Saley in there. She just worked a half mile in 46 and change at Palm Meadows. She was recently 4th at a stake at Tampa. So the way that Mensa ran, you'd think that this mare, come in about 10 days from now, Jesse, she could be a 100% stakes winning producing mare.
Could very well. And you could get the update here as well, because this horse, or not necessarily the update, but you could, or she could get the update, because this horse is being pointed toward the Kentucky Juvenile, which is on Kentucky Derby week at Churchill Downs. So when the sale goes live, we're recording this earlier in the week, but when the sale goes live, this horse will be going through the entry process at Churchill Downs. You can actually go watch this horse train every day, beginning April the 26th, 27th, and 28th at 9:10 a.m. every morning. You're encouraged to go out there. He's going to have a special saddle towel with the Fasig-Tipton Digital on there. You can see Mensa train every morning. He is pointing toward the Kentucky Juvenile, which is going to be on May the 2nd, so I believe that's Thurby of Derby week. And what an exciting time to have a 2-year-old. We've had all these 2-year-old sales, but here's a horse who's a winner already. He's being pointed toward the Kentucky Juvenile, so you get stakes competition that you're buying into. You can run in the name of the new owner. It will have to run in Mark Casse's name should you choose to continue and run in the Kentucky Juvenile, but it will run under trainer Mark Casse's name, but you can run in your colors and run in the owner's name on Derby week. Steve, that's where there's weight in gold right there, to be able to compete in a stakes race on Derby week.
To be a part of a race, Derby week in itself, but to be a part of the 2-year-old stake on Thurby, as you said, which has now sort of been coined its own very special day in the lead up to the Kentucky Derby. And you don't have to be a genius to see that this horse will be extremely live for $250,000 on Thursday.
I see what you did there with the genius.
I've waited all conversation to work that in, Jesse.
So this is a horse, Steve. Let's take a look at the replay here in just a little bit, but let's talk briefly about the race. If you look at the race, this horse, he won by 3 lengths, but then it was a long way back from the second-place finisher even to the third-place finisher. So just talk briefly about the race before we take a look at the replay.
Yes, Jesse, he broke sharp from the inside, broke on top, and went through a blistering first quarter of 22 flat under a motionless Patrick Husbands, who has been aboard many of these Mark Casse 2-year-olds early in their career. And what I liked about him is he continued just to have such a beautiful motion. He turned for home. He switched leads right on cue. The second place horse, I believe his name is Unchained Elaine, got within about 3 lengths of him. And at that point, at about the 8th pole, you just see Patrick Husbands just kind of nudge on him a little bit, and he finds another gear. And he just runs right through the wire, levels out lovely, beautiful action. He's pulling away. It was 11 lengths back. He beat the second place finisher, Unchained Elaine, by 3. It was another 11 lengths back to the third place finisher. And if you watch the gallop out, there wasn't another horse in the same zip code as Mensa galloping out. So extremely professional debut, beautiful while they're moving, and a colt that's extremely exciting with a lot of upside.
Yeah, and he looks like he's a horse that is going to go well beyond the 4.5 furlongs that he raced that day. Compared to, we mentioned him earlier at the top here about Classic Empire and also Wonder Wheel. Time-wise, he stacks up right there, and figures-wise, there's no buyer data for horses that run under 5 furlongs, but this horse on the Thorough Manager ran a 9, so he has very competitive numbers from that perspective, and then just time-wise, compared to those other 2 Cassie runners that we mentioned, he stacks up with that bunch.
Absolutely. I'm glad you bring that up, Jesse. Classic Empire also debuted, going 4.5 furlongs for Mark Cassie. He ran an 11 on the Thorough Manager that day. We just alluded to Mensa having run a 9, so Mensa faster in his debut. What Classic Empire went on to do was win the Bashford Manor in July at Churchill Downs. He went and won the Grade 1 Breeders' Futurity at Keeneland, and that springboarded him into the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, where he won, beat Not This Time. That was always a painful one to watch, but it earned Classic Empire champion 2-year-old honors. He came back as a 3-year-old to win the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby, and was second in the Preakness, and Classic Empire, I believe, went on and earned over $2.5 million. So from a 4.5 furlong maiden special weight early in your 2-year-old year to beating ahead in the Preakness, a Grade 1 winner as a 3-year-old, a Grade 1 champion 2-year-old, and an earner of $2.5 million. You know, I'm not comparing them.
Hey, the possibilities are there.
The numbers say. Numbers say, right? So it's exciting. And then Wonder Wheel's another example, Jesse. She broke her maiden in her 2-year-old year, going 5.5 furlongs. And, you know, obviously went on when the Grade 1 Alcibiades at Keeneland, won the Grade 1 Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, and she, too, was champion 2-year-old. Those are both Mark Cassie 2-year-olds that won early in their 2-year-old year, one going 4.5, one going 5.5, and Mensa fits that profile.
So while we have an opportunity, let's just go ahead and let's real quick take a closer look at the race replay here. Okay, Steve, so here's a look at the replay, and Mensa's breaking from the inside post to your post position number 2.
And he's going to catch a flyer out of there, and you'll see it makes the lead very easily, Jesse, and, you know, within a few strides, he's into a great rhythm already.
Yeah, you can see from the head on there, just shot right out, breaks very easy. And you were talking about this, Patrick Husband just really not even moving a muscle on this horse. The other riders are kind of riding to catch up with this horse. And again, broke from that inside post position, just kind of stayed on the rail, and he could not be traveling any more comfortable at this point through a very quick early fraction there in 22 flat.
Yeah, 22 flat, and just in a great rhythm, not being asked for anything. And you can see now the second place finisher, Unchained Elaine, under pressure to try to keep up as Patrick Husbands takes a confident peek under his shoulder there to see what might be coming.
I think he kind of felt what he had under him, and like you said here, just kind of smooched to him a little bit as they were approaching the half-mile mark there. And again, Unchained Elaine is 3 lengths away from Mensa right there, but a long way back, as you can see, to the third place finisher, stopping the clock in 51-4. And then let's see if we can get this gallop out here. You mentioned just a huge gallop out for this horse that would make you think that 4.5 furlongs, certainly not there you go. There's no other horse in the picture even with him. He's still continuing to go around the turn.
Absolutely. And, you know, he was simply under a hand right to the wire. He was actually sort of wrapped up with a few strides to go and out of a Medaglia d'Oro mare, and he looks like he's a big, good-looking colt. Looks like he's got some scope to him, and you would think that he would stretch out, especially with that pedigree. And don't forget Complexity himself did win the Grade 1 Champagne Stakes going a mile as a 2-year-old.
Yeah, really striding out well underneath that finish line there on the slow motion replay. Exciting to watch Mensa in that race. Steve, I think you got to like what you see there from Mensa. Very impressive. So be sure to check out more on Mensa. The flash sale beginning April the 25th through April the 29th. It will close at 2 p.m. Eastern. And again, don't forget, you can watch Mensa train at Churchill Downs. Also, if you have a license through the KHRC, you can go back and follow the horse back to the barn area. He will train at 9:10 every morning on April 26th, 27th, and 28th. He will train at 9:10 at Churchill Downs. You'll see the Mensa saddle towel, and you're welcome to go back and follow him back to the Mark Casse barn for a closer inspection. If you do have a KHRC license, don't forget he's going to be entered in the Kentucky Juvenile as well. So we look forward to great action from Mensa, consigned by TaylorMade Sales Agency as agent for DJ Stables graduate in the Fasig-Tipton Digital Flash Sale.